6 on the Fortune 500. And I don't really, so the Berkshire Hathaway is 5 and ExxonMobil is 7, so CVS is 6. So pretty much you're just getting information here. So now we could get the full list, but that's not what we want to do. Now we are going to go over and to the annual report. I've already downloaded the annual report from the CVS website. And let's see here. Yeah. So this is the actual annual report. You go over to CVS, go down to the bottom, go to investor relations, whatever the case may be, and you will be able to download the report. The one thing that I found that was interesting was something I want to point out. The one thing that wasn't a report, this is a report. The one thing that I found out using this report is the person that is the CEO, it may not be in there. I thought it was in here. Let's go back up. Yeah. So this particular individual, Ms. Lynch, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I did some quick reading here a few minutes ago, and that she may not be with CVS anymore. And I want to say it's probably within the last week or so that change has been made. Not 100% sure. It's not, again, this is not an investigation into who is the CEO of CVS, and it's not a report on that particular individual. This is just a report that we're using to analyze the data. And basically what I'm here to let you know is that the CEO and who the CEO is really is not something that you probably want to create a KPI on, because that's not company. That's not about the company, right? That's a whole different deal. So I'm going to scroll down. And as I go through the annual report, one of the first things I see, of course, in most annual reports, you're probably going to see being one of the first deals is total revenues. We see the total revenues. Now, of course, we could create an accounting report, or we could create an accounting report to show financial data, being an income statement, balance sheet, pro formas, and stuff like that. But I'm going to say that that's probably not something you're going to dive right into at your initial level of getting into Power BI and building out reports and dashboards. That's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more complex to do. Not impossible, and it's not terribly hard, but I think you need to get your feet wet into building Power BI reports initially before you really get into trying to build financial data, build financial statements. But building financial visualizations is not building reports using visuals and the KPIs for those visuals for the financial data. That is something that you should be able to do. And here, as we're looking at total revenues, we're looking at 2021, 22, and 23. So what that tells me is either there is a revenue table out there that has 2020, there is a revenue table out there that has several years of data, which could be 21 to 23, or it could be 1973 to 23. I don't even know when CVS was founded. But it could be many years of data, it could be 1 year of data. Or there could be several tables out there that have revenues for each year, right? So you want to find those tables, and you want to extract that data from those tables, from either those individual tables, or you want to find that table that has all the revenue. Now, there could be a situation where you've got tables in that financial that has tables within the database, revenue tables. Hey, listen, real quick, before we go too much further, here's the deal. I just want to let you guys know that I will be on a 7-city tour in 2025. That's right, I'll be on a 7-city tour in 2025, bringing Power of the BI live, bringing Power of the BI live to a location near you. 7-city tour. I'm going to be somewhere close to where you are, and here's the deal. For those of you guys that are out there that are already signed up for the course, that are already taking the 16-week online course, you will be granted 100% free access to one of the locations that I will be attending. Here's the deal. In order for you to take advantage of that, just go to the Power of the BI portal and message me in our Power of the BI community portal, and then I will definitely get you locked into that particular location. Now, for those of you guys that are not already signed up for the online course, here's the deal. This is what Power of the BI Live means to you. It means that the 16-week course that I teach for 16 weeks, teaching you Power BI, I will be doing it live Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in a city near you, or probably in your city. You want to be there. If you're the type of person that like to have hands-on teaching, you like to see the instructor face-to-face, you like to be able to ask questions right there on the spot, I am going to be teaching that class, this class, Power of the BI. I'm going to be teaching it live in a city near you in 2025. I'm going to 7 cities, and I'm going to teach this class on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's going to be for a full 10 hours each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I want to see you there. To get more information about Power of the BI Live and the location near you, what you need to do is go over to my website, powerofthebi.com. Go over to my website, powerofthebi.com, and I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to have to register. You're going to have to register and get on the wait list. You're going to have to register and get on the wait list. This is going to be a class that's going to fill up fast, and I want to make sure that we have the right people in that class, and it's going to be built specifically for those that are really trying to learn specifically trying to learn Power BI like right now, so you can get out there and pivot your career or learn more about Power BI. Whatever you're trying to do when it comes to Power BI, and you need to be in this class, Power of the BI Live, 7 cities, coming to a location near you in 2025. Now, back to the class. In the database to where you've got all the individual years, and then you could have a consolidated table. Now, what I would say is one of the first questions you want to ask when you're talking to your customer is, how far do you want me to go back? Because, if you're talking about a company like CVS, and you're talking about, 10 years of data, I mean, we could be talking about hundreds of millions of rows of data. And I'm talking about hundreds of millions of rows of data that we're dealing with. And that may not be what they're looking for. They may be looking just for the last 5 years, right? Now, it's not going to be too much more to do to bring that to build a report with as much data as they have, but it could bog down the power. It could bog down Power BI if you try to bring in too much data at one time, right? And then you've got to go in and you've got to go in and do some other things. I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into that because that could get a little, not sketchy or tricky, but it could confuse you a little bit. And we'll talk about how you can tame the beast, for any better sense of terminology, of being able to control the data size that you're bringing into Power BI. But bottom line is, revenues, you want to find the tables that's going to identify the revenues. Cash flow from operations, which is probably going to be an operations table. Or it could be labeled cash flows. It could be labeled anything. But at the end of the day, you want to, given that they have this information here, you want to ask the question, hey, where's the operations table? Where's the revenues table? Then it's got diluted EPS, right? The EPS could have a table itself, or there could be a formula, and probably is a formula to calculate EPS. There's probably a formula that they use to calculate EPS. Now, if you Google calculate EPS, it'll probably, and what EPS is earnings per share. Now, if you Google calculate EPS, Google or ChatGPT is going to spit that back out to you, right? But Every company is slightly different, and there's some slight nuances to where some things may be added or not used in specific companies that may be used or not used in other companies, or used in the calculations that is spit back out to you using ChatGPT or Google. So you want to ask the question, what formula do you use for earnings per share? What formula do you use for earnings per share? Same thing for adjusted earnings per share. What formula do you use for adjusted earnings per share? Now, when I say what formulas, so they're going to tell you what formula they use, or how they calculate, not necessarily the formula, they're going to tell you how they calculate earnings per share, right? But now you've got to be able to either use SQL or DAX to create that same calculation. That's your formula. That's your measure. You've got to be able to convert what they're saying, the calculation method that they're using to calculate earnings per share or adjusted earnings per share. You now have to be able to take DAX or SQL, or DAX and or SQL, and create that same calculation using those measures and formulas for calculating earnings per share. So as we go down, and now we go through and we see we've got a little visual here in the annual report, and they say they have 120 plus million consumers. That's important. Where are these consumers? We want to find that table of consumers, right? We want to find that consumer table, because that consumer table is going to tell us, where these consumers are, what states are they in, what countries are they in, what zip codes are they in. And the reason why that is so important is because the visualization that you can create at that point could be a map. It could be a map visual to show you where these consumers are. And then you can determine what type of map you want to use at a later time, because of course we know we've got several different map visuals that we can use in Power BI. But at the end of the day, it's really not that important that consumer's name. And again, that's that's personal identifiable information. PII or PI squared, or PII squared. That's personally identifiable information, which you may or may not have access to. It may be dummied out or blanked out, but they may want to know what cities are these guys in, what states are they in, what's the zip codes they're in. All of that's important. That's data. That's how we